Imagine this, it's 1947, the air is thick with fear. You must choose, stay in your ancestral home or leave everything behind. You pack what you can, a few clothes, a photograph, a handful of soil. One last look at your house, then you join a line of people walking into the unknown. This wasn't just a journey, it was a test of faith. Millions faced this impossible decision. Farmers, shopkeepers, mothers, children. They walked for days, sometimes weeks, or rode overcrowded trains. No one knew what waited at the end, only what they left behind. Friends, neighbors, graves of ancestors. They walked toward an idea, a homeland where they could belong. The journey was brutal. The sun beat down, water was scarce, many didn't make it. Yet people helped each other, sharing bread, carrying strangers' children, telling stories to keep hope alive. This was more than migration. It was a river of humanity, flowing in two directions. Muslims headed to Pakistan, Hindus and Sikhs to India. A subcontinent was being torn in two. This is where the story of Pakistan begins, not with a flag, but with sacrifice. The footsteps of millions built the nation before any border was crossed. Their journey was an act of creation. They weren't just moving to a new country, they were building it with every painful step. Their story is one of loss but also of incredible courage. The first citizens of Pakistan gave up their world for a dream. They carried hope, even as they left everything behind. The journey was harsh, but it was also filled with moments of kindness. They sang songs of the new land, keeping the dream alive. The story of Pakistan starts with ordinary people making extraordinary sacrifices. Their courage shaped a nation. Their hope became its foundation. This was the longest journey home. To understand why they walked, you have to go back. For nearly 2 centuries, India was ruled by the British. The British controlled everything: land, resources, people. They built railways but also divisions, using divide and rule to pit communities against each other. Under British rule, many Muslims felt their identity slipping away. They feared what would happen when the British left. A Hindu-majority India. Would Muslims be treated fairly, or would their voices be lost? This fear gave birth to a new idea, a separate homeland. Not out of hate, but out of self-preservation. A place where their culture and faith could thrive. The dream of Pakistan was born from love for a way of life under threat. It was a demand for a political home, a place to belong. This dream needed a leader, a voice to turn hope into movement. That leader was Muhammad Ali Jinnah, a brilliant lawyer. At first he wanted a united India. But the story of how he changed his mind is the story of Pakistan's birth. The dream was about dignity, identity, and the right to shape one's own future. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was born in Karachi, trained as a lawyer in London. He was sharp, sophisticated, and once called the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. Jinnah believed in a united India with protections for all. He worked with Gandhi and Nehru for freedom from the British, but he grew disillusioned. Muslim concerns were ignored. He saw a future where Muslims would be powerless in a Hindu-majority India. Jinnah tried to negotiate but was met with resistance. He left the Congress Party and led the All India Muslim League. Jinnah made a radical demand. Muslims were not a minority but a nation deserving its own state, Pakistan. This idea electrified millions. Jinnah became the Quaid-e-Azam, the great leader. He argued that democracy is not just majority rule but protecting minority rights. If those rights couldn't be guaranteed, a new country was the only answer. Jinnah wasn't a religious preacher. He was a political leader fighting for rights. He used his brilliant mind to argue Pakistan's case on the world stage. He was determined to carve out a new nation from an old empire. The British were leaving, their empire crumbling after World War II. They agreed to create 2 new countries, India and Pakistan. But how do you divide a subcontinent? The task fell to Sir Cyril Radcliffe, who had never been to India. He had 5 weeks to draw the borders, a line that would decide millions of lives. The borders were drawn in secret, cutting through Punjab and Bengal, splitting villages and families. The Radcliffe Line was announced 2 days after independence, causing chaos. No one knew which country they belonged to. Violence erupted. Neighbors turned on neighbors. Trains of refugees were attacked. Up to 2 million people were killed in the violence that followed partition. Amid this chaos, the largest migration in human history took place. 15 million people uprooted. Muslims traveled west to Pakistan, Hindus and Sikhs east to India. They left with nothing but hope for safety. The birth of Pakistan was not peaceful, it was a baptism by fire. The country was born in suffering and loss. The trauma of partition is etched into the nation's soul. This was the price of freedom. On August 14, 1947, Pakistan became independent. Jinnah's first address was about freedom and inclusion. You are free to go to your temples, mosques, or any place of worship. Pakistan was created to protect Muslims, but it was meant for all its citizens. Jinnah dreamed of a nation built on justice, equality, and tolerance. He hoped Pakistan would become a place of healing after so much pain. Jinnah died just over a year later, but his vision endures. The story of Pakistan's birth is about more than land. It's about identity and dignity. It's a story of sacrifice and hope. Freedom is never free. It is paid for with struggle. Even in darkness, people risk everything for the dream of a better future. This is our home.